My dear friends, the reading from the prophet Isaiah is more relevant than we might like to think. Is it or is it not true that as one goes through the week, one often comes across some kind of criticism of the Godhead? Somebody has just lost somebody, tragically. There's been some fulminating cancer or some accident on the road or even some suicide. Who gets the blame? Well, God, of course. He doesn't know how to run the universe. And we have then that by now accepted reaction that people then switch off completely and will never ever go to church again. God has to answer for his behavior. Well, it's exactly what we have here in the prophet Isaiah. Does the axe claim more credit than the man who wields it, or the saw more strength than the man who handles it? It will be, he says, like the cudgel controlling the man who raises it, or the club moving what is not made of wood. On it goes. The difference between ourselves and God is that we're on the receiving end of all. A creature, by definition, is created and therefore utterly dependent and empty of itself. It has no rights except those given it on loan. It's rather actually what happens to a child, bit by bit. A child starts to exist and becomes more and more aware of something happening as it comes into being in the womb and comes out and then starts to discover the universe. The first days, weeks of a child coming into the world are full of fascination and surprises. It's the first time it's seeing anything at all. And as it grows, it's not long before it starts also to get into I have a right mode. I was talking to my brother on the phone the other day. He and his wife, my sister-in-law, are very good at babysitting. They're very good with their own little grandchildren. And he was telling me how, with the latest one, it was becoming more energy consuming because he explained that when they get to the age of 2, they get to the age which is referred to as the terrible twos, and it's because they begin to be aware that they have a certain possibility of independence and therefore of having a will which can control others. They start, because they can start talking, to exert power. It's a new domain at their fingertips, and therefore they can actually change the life of parents and grandparents radically. A baby doesn't quite do that, it can't. So it's in miniature what's happening to us on this planet. I have rights. We are grown up, and God has a lot of growing up to do. Well, it's not quite so simple. The Lord in the Gospel gives another warning which is not that different. He, on more than one occasion, indicates as a model the little people. Yes, yourself, little person. They are different insofar as a little person tends to believe what it is told and not to question. It also tends to be humble enough not to start preaching and teaching. The initial stage of childhood is reception, and the Lord likes it. He proposes it as the model, receiving the kingdom of God like a little child. And by the way, it's something that we don't have to relinquish entirely. The good listener throughout life is a good learner. It's with the ears that one learns and not with the mouth. Empty vessels make most noise. It's true in a classroom, it's true in a commission, a loudspeaker, parish council, noisy, heavy people who invade, obstruct and insist and cloud and are heavy to bear. It's much more pleasant for others if we go through life exercising the ministry of the ear, only speaking when it's helpful and only speaking when actually the word will have an effect. Too many words have the contrary effect. One just switches off. So that's something we can take with us because it's linked precisely with humility. The listener is humble because he doesn't yet know everything. Little children don't yet know that they are far more intelligent than their parents. Oscar Wilde came out one day with, "I'm not young enough to know everything." It's when one is heading for the maximum of maturity and knowledge, e.g. the age of 15, 16, that one has really learnt everything and the parents haven't a clue. Well, it's rather the same with God. We have everything to learn. And in conversation, when one comes across a person who has a lot to teach us, a lot to teach about religion, unfortunately, there's not an awful lot one can say. He's so well informed. Usually, he's talking through his hat. Why? It's easier to do that and make a lot of noise and cancel it than examine it. With what? Humility. If we realised our state, we'd really stand before the majesty that made us and just say, "I don't know a thing." At that point, there might be some hope for mankind.